What else, Rex, do you think are some of Brian Rolapp's biggest challenges ahead as he takes over day-to-day operations sometime in the next few months?
Well, the challenges are many, and it's easy to get excited. And if I'm a player, I'm certainly optimistic in the road going forward. However, first and foremost, I think it's important for anyone who's going to take over that job to address the elephant in the room, and that is Tiger Woods. And at the height of his powers, Tiger Woods drove this engine. Like, I don't think you can overstate that. Where the PGA Tour is right now is because solely of Tiger Woods. And I was told that during this meeting, which Tiger Woods did attend, he flew up to Connecticut. He was there for the policy board meetings on Sunday and Monday and stuck around for Tuesday's announcement at the players meeting. Everyone stood up on the stage on Tuesday morning at the players meeting and introduced themselves. Some players probably didn't know John Henry or Arthur Blank or whoever the case may be. Tiger Woods stood up, and I was told his line was, "Hi, I'm Tiger. I used to play golf." It was a funny line. I see where he's going. However, there is some truth to that I think everyone needs to sort of embrace. The idea that if you were to take purses from the time Tiger Woods started in 1997 to where we are right now, exponential growth, right? I'm doing the chart with my fingers for those of you in the listening audience. It is a exponential growth chart. At some point, Tiger Woods stopped playing. He stopped being competitively relevant, to be fair. And yet those purses continue to grow. From Brian's standpoint, he has to figure out how to reconcile that. Every event cannot have a $20 million purse right now. As much as I'm sure the players would want it, as much as I'm sure the administration would want it, that is probably not a realistic model right now. That's first and foremost. Two, in the NFL, the labor was contracted. You knew exactly how long you were going to have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback because he is signed to a contract for X amount of dollars. That's actually easy. That's labor and management. That's the way it works. On the PGA Tour, you don't have anything close to that. If Rory McIlroy doesn't want to play for the rest of the year, Rory McIlroy is not going to play for the rest of the year, and the PGA Tour has absolutely no say in it. That is the reality of being a CEO of the PGA Tour. And then finally, and I think this is important, that for someone who is taking over a sport coming from the NFL, where you walked in the room and you were always the loudest voice. I don't care what room it was, you were always the loudest voice. When he walks into a room now, he's not necessarily the loudest voice. The PGA Tour doesn't control the 5 biggest events in our sport. That would be the majors, and that would be the Ryder Cup. We can debate it, and where the players falls, that's up to you. You can talk about it, but the 5 biggest events are controlled by other entities. All of those things are going to be challenges for him.
I think that's very well said. I think that's also part of the intrigue of the $1.5 billion in capital that he could potentially deploy, whether the Ryder Cup, whether the PGA Championship, are under his list of potential options. I think remains to be seen. Yeah, like I would think reunification, the capital investment, what you're going to do with that money. I would also say, Rex, the schedule is a huge opportunity for him to really maximize it. And in my opinion, the NFL really works because every week is an event. Everyone's looking forward to that singular week, A, because it's scarce, and B, because there's so much buildup throughout the course of the week to when you actually get there on Sunday. Like, everyone gathers around the television, or you go attend a game and you tailgate for 8 hours like I do for Jags games. That's why I'm wearing a Jags shirt. Shout out Brian Rolapp.
That's an aggressive logo. Man, that is an aggressive logo.
Thank you. But the NFL has created this massive reach, and it's become appointment viewing. That's not the way that it is right now with the bloated PGA Tour schedule and, late 30s, early 40s number of events throughout the course of the season. I would be very surprised if Brian Rolapp does not use some of the learnings that he has from the NFL in at least exploring the idea of paring down the schedule and making each event stand on its own merit. Rory McIlroy talking about a year ago, sort of parroting what the folks at the SSG had said, is that they wanted to make PGA Tour events similar to Formula One, where it's a happening, where there's events leading up to the actual tournament, and even the competition. There's other things going on outside the ropes to attract a massive audience. I could see that multiplied over a grander scale, but you can't have the PGA Tour schedule in its current iteration, in its current form, if you want to have that. And so I'll be very curious to see schedule-wise, which I think is what golf fans are going to be most intrigued by, what sort of possibilities exist in there.